Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey everyone, this is D Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic. And of course, somebody is pulling up while I'm trying to record, and I don't know why. Hey everyone, this is D Movieman coming to you all with yet another Added Theater reaction / review. This time for Strange Darling, written and directed by J.T. Mollner and starring Willa Fitzgerald and Gallner. Now, I was not familiar with J.T. Mollner before this film. He actually made his feature directorial debut back in 2016 with Outlaws and Angels. I haven't seen that film, but I'm very curious to go check it out because this... Oh man, what a time this was. Strange Darling is one of those films that I can already tell was going to be up my alley, not really knowing that much about it, but it just seemed mysterious. It seemed very straight to the point, kind of had an independent feel to it, and you know, from my experience, those tend to be some of the best films, and definitely my experience this year has proven that. So I was just like, you know, I hate to say it, but the further I get away from the mainstream, it just seems like the better the films get. I just you know, I understand it's not like that for everybody, but it's definitely like that for me. And this is one I've been trying to get to the last couple of weeks, trying to just keep up with the films, trying to get back on board and, you know, find the balance with work and with films and with everything else. So finally I had the opportunity to do that, and I am so glad I had the chance to see this. It was far beyond anything I would have expected, and it's not like I really had any expectations, but I liked that. I didn't look up anything, I didn't have any information. The only thing I can say I did know was that Lost in the Real, aka Sean, a good YouTube pal of mine, I could see he had done a review for this, and I was like, okay, if Sean has something to say about this, it's definitely one I'm going to consider checking out. Sean is really good with getting out there and identifying all the hidden gems, and I am definitely down for that always. And definitely, given the hidden gems I have seen at all the film festivals and just the abundance of films that I've enjoyed with that same style, I was like, I think this might be one I enjoy. And even if it's not 100% for me, I can just tell it's going to be something that's just worth the experience for me. So yes, I was not wrong. I was not wrong at all. It's one of those where I can only say but so much because you really have to experience this for yourself. I'm not going to give away anything synopsis wise. All I will say is that, as the film itself states, there's the devil you know and the devil you don't, which is crazy because I was just having a discussion about that phrase in relation to something else with one of my friends on a show that we were watching. And the fact that that circled around here, I was just like, I tell you, the timing with the things that I go and watch and the conversations I have, and just, it's wild. But it honestly sums up this film perfectly. It is set up in chapters, and even that is something that I found in certain films is not really my jam, because I'm just like, why are we doing this? Can we just tell the story? But oh my gosh, when I tell you this was the best structure for this film, and even the fact that it's non-linear. It doesn't do it in this straightforward chronological order, but it hops around, it jumps around, and even that sometimes can be like, oh please, let's not do. Perfect. I love it because I'm big on being able to put the pieces of a story together almost like a puzzle, and that can be really, really fun. And this was one where you go in thinking like, okay, I'm clear on this, I'm clear. I already knew that what I was seeing I already knew there was more to it, because we jump in at a certain point and then we start peeling back those layers, and I was just like, yes, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. Woo! This was a grisly one. This was a shocking one. There were some moments, surprisingly, of this, you know, almost dark humor. It's not a humorous film, but there are some moments where it's like you almost can't help but laugh. It's just like, are you serious? Is this really happening? I have to also say that although I haven't seen it, from what I've heard, this definitely is giving me the feel of the film Sanctuary, which I believe came out last year. I also love a film that takes place in one location for the most part and deals with dialogue and a slow burn and is basically building up to this very explosive reveal, explosive confession, so on and so forth. And I tell you, what a time. What a time, what a time. And this is going to sound like a really random comparison, but to me, this is the complete antithesis of everything M. Night Shyamalan was trying to do with Trap. This was the Trap, okay? This is how you take a situation with an antagonist who is doing things that would shock you, but it's totally realistic. You get why this is happening. You get how everything is progressing. And even though it's shocking, it's kind of like, well, I kind of get it. I get what's going on here. And we have people who seem naive, but it's an understandable situation. I just was like, it's crazy how I just saw Trap. And we see so many goofy Shyamalan shenanigans in that film. But then here we are with this. Oh my gosh, it was so great. And then Willa Fitzgerald, her performance alone was like bananas, but also Kyle Gallner. And it's so crazy to see where he is now, because I had to remind myself, of course, with his mustache and beard and all that, but he actually starred as Quentin in the A Nightmare on Elm Street remake back in 2010, which, as we know, was not a great film. And I think that film gets dragged on the regular. But it's so wild to see him as a part of that. He's been a part of Scream, the 5th Scream film. He was also in the Smile film, and he's going to be starring in the 2nd Smile film. So it's just like him carving out this lane in kind of like this horror adjacent thriller suspense lane. I love it. He was great as well. And there was just this really interesting cat and mouse game that was happening. And even when you thought you knew what was going on, you didn't. And that's how I like it. Just keep me guessing, keep me confused, and just keep me on the edge of my seat. And that's exactly what this film did. This was everything to me. If there were any, I don't know, if there were any real cons, not really. This is probably one of the few times I can say I saw maybe a scene or two with camera work that was a little bit off. There was a slight little, movement with the lens. There was something where something was blurred and it wasn't supposed to be. I usually don't notice those things. I would say there were a couple of moments I noticed that, but it wasn't a big deal. And I would also say for this to be such a short film, I would say it's about maybe 96 minutes. It felt a little bit longer than that, but the great thing is that I was invested the entire time. And like I said, I just love something that is straightforward, simple, solid premise, solid actors, solid performances, and you really walk away feeling like, man, what a journey I've been on just in a short amount of time. It can really blow you away, and I love films that do that. And so for me, this gave me everything I didn't know I needed, hoped I would get, but didn't know if I would, and it absolutely gave me what I needed. It really, really did. I would highly recommend this film. I think this is definitely, this is going up on my end of year list because, and not even just because this year has not been ideal for me, but I think it makes it all the more significant and important when I see films that click with me the way I want them to. And this film absolutely did that. Can't wait to watch this one again with a friend or some friends. And yes, so grateful to have another pleasant, happy, satisfied experience at the theater. Hallelujah. So once again, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you at the movies.